Hi guys, welcome back to today's video. If you're new here, my name is Daniela, and in this channel I talk about chronic illness and my journey trying to manage my health. And today I just want to do a quick health update. So a lot has been happening in the last year. If you've been following my channel for a while, you remember that in March of last year, I had one of the biggest health scares that I've had in my chronic illness journey. And that is that I almost lost my vision to uveitis. I had never had uveitis before in my life. I had been experiencing some issues with my eyes. I had been complaining of blurred vision first thing in the morning, and I've always had a lot of allergies, so I thought maybe it was allergies. I had itchy eyes and sometimes a little bit painful, and I've always attributed it to allergies. But thinking back now, I feel that it was already my eye kind of getting inflamed, and a combination of circumstances that happened while I was on vacation in Brazil led to this case of uveitis. People don't just get uveitis for any reason. It's usually caused by trauma or an infection, either bacterial, viral, or fungal. Or a third option is an autoimmune disorder. So basically, it's just massive inflammation in the eye, in the uveitis of the eye, and it can lead to permanent vision loss. I was just so incredibly lucky that my vision returned 100%. The doctors told me I would not recover anything of my vision. And I was able to see light. I wasn't able to identify anything or anybody. And mind you, that was only on my right eye, but it still creates a lot of problems when you lose vision in one eye. There's a lot of adaptations that need to happen. And what the doctors told me they were trying to do was two things. One was to prevent me from losing my eye, because they said if they couldn't control it, they would have to surgically remove the eye. And second, to preserve whatever vision I had, which at that time was only like light and blurriness. And I did recover. I did recover my vision 100%. And I am so grateful for that, because for the 3 months that I didn't have vision on my right eye, I cannot explain how difficult things were, how difficult my life became. Like simple tasks, driving myself, cooking, like nearly cut my finger chopping vegetables because you lose that depth perception. Though my vision came back completely, the significance of that event meant that doctors started to investigate for an autoimmune disorder. I never really showed the classic autoimmune blood work that people, let's say, with rheumatoid arthritis does, or maybe with lupus. So it has always been categorized as fibromyalgia. And even though I do have a new diagnosis now that I'm going to explain and discuss, they weren't wrong about fibromyalgia. I do have fibromyalgia. And even though there are many overlapping symptoms from fibromyalgia and this new diagnosis, there are many other symptoms that don't belong to this new diagnosis and that very much match fibromyalgia. So basically what has happened was I just got a new diagnosis, which hopefully is going to lead to better pain management. So what is this new diagnosis that I'm talking about? And if you have been following my vlogs, you have heard me refer to this condition called ankylosing spondylitis, which I was being investigated for since this whole thing with uveitis. And things have just been really delayed because of the need of an MRI that they wanted to either confirm or rule out calcification of the spine, lesions of the spine, or inflammation directly on the spine. And specifically the sacroiliac joint, I think that's how you pronounce, lower back. And I'm still waiting for this MRI. As I am recording this video, we are in early March. I think it's March 6th or 7th, I'm not sure. And my MRI has been scheduled for end of June. So that's still quite a bit of wait. And then after that, I have to go see my rheumatologist and she will read the MRI. Meanwhile, my pain has been getting worse and worse and worse. Not only my lower back has got a lot worse, I have also developed other issues on my shoulders and my ankle and my foot, to the point where it's now affecting my ability to walk. And I also had a few episodes where I felt the uveitis coming back, which scares me so much, because experiencing vision loss was one of the scariest things I've ever experienced in my life. And I don't wish that on anyone. And so anytime that my vision starts to get blurry and my eye starts to hurt, I freak out. I simply freak out. So, what's a girl to do? Well, you guys know I'm from Brazil. And so I made some contacts in Brazil and I decided I am going to go to Brazil and see a rheumatologist there. Because Brazil has private health, I'm able to just go and make an appointment with a rheumatologist, get my MRI done, and get once and for all a diagnosis and treatment. Yes, you have to pay, but at this point, how it's affecting my life, how it's affecting my quality of life, I am willing to pay. And the most interesting thing about this is that a friend of mine who watches my channel watched one of my videos where I was complaining about the delay of the MRI and wanting to see a rheumatologist, reached out to me and said that he's actually friends with a rheumatologist in Brazil. So he put me in touch with this rheumatologist in Rio de Janeiro, and I told him that I had plans to go to Brazil to do a consultation. And he said that we could, prior to the in-person consultation, we could do a virtual consultation. And so I requested all my notes from my rheumatologist here. I got all my results of the tests that I had already done here, which included x-rays and ultrasounds and blood work. And I sent it all to him and we scheduled a virtual appointment. Now, let me tell you that I have never felt so validated in my life. He went through all my medical history, all my tests and exams, and he went on to explain that there is a group of conditions called spondyloarthritis, and it encompasses different kinds, and ankylosing spondylitis is one of those. So spondyloarthritis is like an umbrella term for like different kinds. And I believe that ankylosing spondylitis requires you to see damage on either x-ray, ultrasound, or sometimes if you don't pick in any of those, an MRI will show. But he said that even if my MRI comes back showing nothing, I already have a diagnosis. And let me grab my phone so I can read it because I'm not going to remember. Okay, found my phone. Oh, now I need my glasses. Oh, okay, got my glasses. Let's read. And he made a medical report in English so that I can send it to my rheumatologist here and hopefully start treatment sooner than later. So he said that regardless of the MRI, I believe she presents with a diagnosis of non-radiographic axial spondyloarthritis with peripheral and extra-articular ocular involvement, which may recur, leading to irreversible sequelae. Based on the above, I suggest the need for anti-TNF therapy as quickly as possible to control the condition. And basically, from what we spoke during the consultation, he said I would experience significant improvement with treatment. And that was just music to my ears, because for the last year the pain has gotten worse, the episodes have gotten more frequently, and it has spread. Now it's my shoulders, it's my wrist, it's my hands, it's my ankle, and it is becoming really difficult to be active, to move around, to exercise, and to just have a good quality of life. And if at the end of the day, the result of this MRI doesn't really make a difference in the treatment, it only changes the label, I don't care. I don't care what it's called. What I need is help. What I need is relief for my pain. So I'm very excited about this. I don't know what kind of hoops I'm gonna have to jump here, if my rheumatologist is going to accept this medical report or if she's still gonna insist in waiting for this MRI. I am going to Brazil in May, in early May. No matter what happens, I am going, because I'm going to do an in-person doctor appointment. I don't know if I can start that treatment there, if I can buy the medication there and bring it here and have it here. The biggest impact and the biggest difference is the medication being covered by my insurance or not. And it is a very expensive medication. It's like $10,000 a year. And so, yeah, my insurance needs to cover that. But I feel if I could get a kickstart and then work on convincing my doctors here that I need this medication. Also, if I start the medication and I see a significant improvement, then that's proof that this treatment is working. And it would be neglect to not continue prescribing it to me. So this is what I'm going to be working on. All this politics of doctors and healthcare and insurance. But the good news is that I at least have a diagnosis for the worsening of my symptoms. But at the same time, I have to be honest, as relieved as I am to have finally a diagnosis, I'm also terrified. All my life, I had this diagnosis of fibromyalgia. And I've learned to deal with it. I've learned to manage flares. I've learned to deal with the ups and downs and the sleep issues and the pain and the weird symptoms. And all of a sudden, I have this new diagnosis that I know nothing about, that I am no expert on. And also a diagnosis of a progressive disease. And that's very scary. That is very scary. And though new treatments bring hope, they also scare me so much, because any drug, any treatment has side effects. And those TNF drugs they are drugs that suppress your immune system. And so you are a lot more prone to infections. And I already have chronic UTIs, and I have issues with sinus infections. And it really scares me that I'm just going to be trading one thing for another. Pain might be better, but then now I'm dealing with all those infections. I'm a little bit terrified. I'm a little bit terrified of dealing with a whole new disease. Even though it's been here all along, I've been dealing with it for the last year, but yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain. I don't know if you get me. So anyways, I just wanted to do a health update of what has been going on, that now I have officially a diagnosis of non-radiographic spondyloarthritis. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for following along my journey. And if there's anybody here in this community who has a diagnosis of ankylosing spondylitis or non-radiographic spondyloarthritis, please comment. I would really appreciate if you could give me some tips, give me some hope, some inspiration, because I'm feeling quite lost. Yeah, I would really appreciate any encouragement and any support that you guys could give me. All right, I'll see you on my next video.